There seems to be a number of comments, whether on Twitter or even on our own channel, surrounding Arc 3.0 hunters and how Arc hunters are only melee focused. And that if you don't want to use things like Liar's Handshake or Assassin's Cow or essentially our Phantom Fister build, it's just not worth playing Arc 3.0 hunters this season. I get it, which is why I want us to take a trip back to old Void 3.0. Considering we have Grandmaster Nightfalls on the horizon, this is a build that essentially grants you the fastest regenerating super in the game. Now, how fast can one Guardian get their super back? Is it Shards of Galanor? Well, maybe it used to be. But what about Orpheus Rig? Nah. How about Radiant Dance Machines? LOL? Yeah, it's Radiant Dance Machines. This isn't a joke. This is a for real build video surrounding Radiant Dance Machines and Wish Ender. Two exotics that you never thought you would see in game. Now, for this Night Stalker build, you want to be on the Deadfall super. Now, technically, you can use any super, but Deadfall is on the shortest cooldown, and this build really is all about super short cooldowns. So that's what we're going with. If you choose Mobius Quiver or Spectral Blades, it will take a bit longer to get your super solely because they have a longer base cooldowns, and I wouldn't choose Spectral Blades because it's just not ideal for PvE. Your abilities do not matter though. Pick whatever you want, but I do suggest picking a grenade that you can get the most kills with, so whichever grenade that is for you, go with it. Personally, we're rocking Vortex. For your aspects, you're going to want Vanishing Step, which makes you go invisible on dodge, as well as Stylish Executioner, which we're mainly utilizing for that double fragment slot. Now, fragments, we've got Echo of Remnants, which states that our lingering void grenades have increased duration. This applies to Vortex, Void Spikes, Void Walls, and Axiom Bolts, which I do suggest one of those grenades. Now, we also have Echo of Reprisal, which gives us super energy on final blows while we're surrounded. Echo of Leeching gives us health regeneration on melee final blows, and Echo of Exchange gives us grenade energy on melee final blows. Now, jumping into our weapons, we're actually going with Wish Ender for this build for multiple reasons. First up, Wish Ender hits really hard right now. Not sure if you tried it since it got buffed at the start of the season, but it feels great, and it fits perfectly into the fantasy of our constant bow and arrow super. With update 6.2.0 at the start of the season, Bungie actually gave Wish Ender intrinsic anti-barrier. They also changed the number of hits per arrow versus most targets from 2 to 3, increasing the damage versus champions, majors, and mini bosses by 10%, and they also slightly reduced the draw time. Not only do these changes make Wish Ender hit harder, but it also opens it up to being a top pick for in-game Nightfalls, as one single arrow will break a barrier's champion shield on master level content. Granted, we're gonna see how this plays out in GMs, but at least on master, it only takes one arrow, and it's a primary, so you got infinite ammo. Now, I don't want to really get too far off on this build video, but I do want to bring up a damage comparison for Wish Ender. First up, Wish Ender on Carl does 5,992 damage per body, 10,751 per crit. Now, Broadhead actually makes it so that each arrow does additional damage on entry and exit, and this additional damage on Carl, no matter if it's a body or crit, is 11,367 two times. Once on entry and the other on exit. So the damage is actually body damage with Broadhead, 28,726, crit damage, 33,485. Again, this is a primary. Put this in comparison, Arbalest is 15,135 damage per body, 52,083 damage per crit. I know it's higher, but we're talking a difference between a special weapon and a primary weapon. Now, against champions, we see this in effect. Wish Ender was doing body shot damage with Broadhead around 21,994, crit with Broadhead around 25,637. Now, Wish Ender damage versus barrier champion shields is around that 33k mark, as that Broadhead tick damage changes sometimes, but from what we were gathering, somewhere around 33,000. Now, Arbalest body is 8,119, crit is 27,939. Now, Arbalest's damage versus a barrier champion shield is 39,484, and precision Arbalest damage does go up to 41,908 after the shield break, thanks to, of course, Disruption Break. Now, I do want to point out something here. Wish Ender works just like Outbreak Perfected in terms of its super regeneration. Because each arrow hits 3 times, you get a good chunk of super for each arrow that hits, which is why we're using Wish Ender for this build. And considering it's just a primary weapon, you can keep spamming that over and over, and the damage is comparable to that of Arbalest. Not bad? In the same way that Outbreak Perfected gives you tons of super energy because of the amount of hits you're doing with those Siva nanites, Wish Ender is able to do the exact same thing with Broadhead, as Broadhead is a piercing arrowhead that damages the target on entry and exit. One shot actually equals 3 shots, and this is what's going to allow us to top off our super even faster. And of course, the power fantasy here is us using a bow. As for other weapons, you can really go with whatever you want. We will have a semi-focus on throwing your grenades, so maybe a weapon with Demolitionist will be nice. I do want to point out Ogma actually has a fantastic roll of both Demolitionist and Wellspring, and of course, you can rock Unstoppable Pulse Rifle this season with it. Now, you don't need your grenade for this build, it just helps, but you will always want a grenade ready to go shortly after using your super. And this is going to make sense here in just a second. Radiant Dance Dance Machines are what you're gonna want for your armor. Now, these boots are not used much. I know. They were busted for like that first week, if even that long. But Radiant Dance Machines are very intriguing to me, even in in-game content. But what we are trying to satisfy here is what is the fastest possible way to get a full super. And Radiant Dance Machines, with the perk The Dance, states that activating your dodge ability while near targets allows you to dodge additional times for a short period. Now, the words near target or targets is why this might be tough to pull off in GM level content. Now, we have some ways around this. We're going to talk about that at the end of the video. That does make this more in-game friendly. But the way this exotic works is basically when your dodge ability is charged, you'll see that you have multiple dodge available on the left side of the screen. Now, when you dodge, you have a 6-second timer that lets you dodge as many times as you want before that timer ends. And basically, 6 dodges can be spammed. That's it. It's a pretty simple exotic. Now, let me go over the affinity and mods real quick before we get into the flowchart here. Affinities, we have a solar helmet, a void glove, solar chest, void boots, and solar class item. For our helmet, we are rocking Ashes to Assets, which will give us our super energy on grenade kills, as well as an elemental charge mod, which will make us charge with light when we pick up an elemental well. And of course, it will give us 2 stacks of charge with light if that elemental well matches our subclass energy type. And in this case, it will. In our gloves, we have bolstering detonation, which provides us with class ability energy when causing damage with our grenades, as well as reaping well maker, which states that after activating your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns a void elemental well. For our chest piece, we have a supercharged mod, which allows us to have 2 additional stacks of charge with light up to a maximum of 5. The base amount you can have is 2, and this of course adds 2, so now we can up it to times 4. You also want to slot in whatever damage resist mods you have, whether that be thermoshock plating or a melee damage resist mod, whatever fits your fancy here. Personally, we like to use one of each. In our Radiant Dance Machines, we have Energy Converter. Now this mod states that while charged with light, using your grenade grants you super energy, consuming all stacks of charge with light. Now the more stacks you have, the more super energy you gain, up to a maximum of 50%. Now the wording on this mod is a bit weird because it sounds like when you throw your grenade, depending on how many stacks of charge with light you have, you can get up to 50% super energy. But what it really means, let's say you have 5 stacks of charge with light when you throw your grenade. If you have no super energy, you'll get almost 50% of your super. So half your super will be charged. But if you already have half your super charged, then when you throw your grenade, you won't get anything because you already have 50% of your super. So it only helps with the first half of your super regeneration. And if you try to take advantage of this mod after this point, you'll just throw your grenade and nothing will happen. Thankfully, when you do this, you won't consume your stacks of charge with light. You just won't get any super energy because it's up to a maximum of 50% of your super. Now, if you happen to throw your grenade and your super is at 45%, you're gonna be basically wasting those stacks because the mod will only give you 5% of your super. Now that you know how that mod works, let's move on. In our class item, we've got multiple things slotted. First off, we have the seasonal mod Sundering Glare, which states that rapid precision hits against distant combatants weakens them for a short duration. Now, this seems like a good fit since we're going to be using this with Wish Ender. And of course, Stylish Executioner grants us invisibility and true sight when we defeat a weakened target, so it fits right in. We also have Charged Up, which lets us get another stack of Charge with Light, bringing our total to 5. We're literally blowing our load with Charge with Light. Now, for this build, you definitely want to be rocking as high as you can in the resilience department, primarily tier 10, and you want to be rocking close to tier 10 intellect. Now, tier 10 intellect isn't needed. You definitely want to go with more resilience and then work your way up when it comes to your intellect. It's just nice because it also reduces your super cooldown the higher it is. Now, what is the gameplay loop for this build? Well, we said you get your super fast, so the gameplay loop is very, very short. What you're going to do is you're going to run into a group of at least 3 enemies, dodge, then kill one of those enemies with a weapon, then dodge again. Kill the second enemy with your weapon, dodge a third time, kill the last enemy with your weapon, pick up the 3 void wells that they drop, then chuck your grenade at a group of enemies. Instant 75 to 85 of your super in a whopping 15 to 20 seconds. Then spam Wish Ender to top off your super. Upon getting your super, you fire off your deadfall bow and arrow and rinse and repeat. You just got to make sure you have a grenade charge ready to go each time. Now that is the basic rundown, but what's really happening? When you dodge near an enemy, Radiant Dance Machines will proc, enabling you to dodge multiple times in rapid succession. You'll also become invisible when you dodge thanks to Vanishing Step. Next, you want to get a weapon kill as fast as you can because you need to dodge and kill 3 enemies before your multi-dodge from Dance Machine ends. This weapon kill will spawn a void well thanks to Reaping Wellmaker. And when you pick up this well, you become charged with light ×2 because of elemental charge. Then you dodge again, get another weapon kill, get another void well, pick it up, and now you're charged with light ×4. Then one more time and you'll become charged with light ×5, which is the max. In between all of this, you'll be generating super energy solely from being surrounded by enemies thanks to Echo of Reprisal. Once you get charged with light ×5, you want to find a big group of enemies to throw your grenades at. You want to do this as fast as you can because remember, Energy Converter can only grant you super up to 50%, so the longer you wait, the more potential free energy you're wasting. When you do throw a grenade, it will proc Energy Converter at charge with light ×5, which will basically put puts you at 50% of your super. For each enemy you kill with the grenade though, you're also going to be getting additional super energy thanks to double Ashes to Asset mods that we have slotted on our helmets. Now when testing this build, we have repetitively gotten somewhere around 85% of our deadfall super with a single grenade throw. That much super in such a short amount of time with little preparation is amazing. All it takes is dodge, kill, throw grenades at enemies. And again, the more damage you do with your grenade, the more class ability energy you get back thanks to bolstering detonation. So while you're firing off Wish Ender shots to top off your super, your dodge charge will come back. So you can run the dodge cycle again, get charged with light times 5. That way when you use your super, you can instantly get 75 to 85% of it right back as long as you have enemies to kill with your grenade because you've already done the dodging part of the gameplay loop. Now not only is this build fun, but it's also a support build in a sense because you'll be generating so many orbs because you'll be getting so many supers. You also have Sundering Glare to weaken, constant anti-barrier ammo with Wish Ender, not to mention the Deadfall super itself, trapping enemies, weakening and suppressing them. It's a fun to use build that also helps out your teammates. Now we thought a bit on how to use this build in more in-game content, specifically high level Nightfalls. Now the issue inside of GMs is getting up close to your enemies, which is pretty much death no matter what. So what if we swapped out Radiant Dance Machines and instead use 6 Coyote? 6 Coyote gives you 2 dodges, which is definitely less than what Radiant Dance Machine provides, but it doesn't require you to be near enemies like Dance Machines does. Then we slot out the Charged Up mod from our class item, bringing our total charge with light stacks down to 4. We change the affinity of our class item to Void and slot in Enduring Wells. This mod will make our elemental wells last longer, 10 seconds longer for a max lifespan of 30 seconds. The idea here is that you're going to be spending 1 dodge with 6 Coyote, get a kill, and spawn an elemental well thanks to Reaping Wellmaker, dodge again, get another kill, and spawn a second well. You can actually do this from a distance, and it would be easy with Wish Ender hitting as hard as it does and it being a long-range weapon. Enduring Wells is meant to give you enough time to reach those void wells. You have 30 seconds before those wells actually despawn, and if you get to them in time, you'll have charge with light times 4. You can then throw your grenade at some enemies, and you'll get a sizable chunk of your super. Now, it won't be as much as charge with light times 5, but it's still a decent amount, especially if you get a couple grenade kills as well. You could also go the route of seeking wells instead of enduring wells, which will allow those void wells to seek you, and of course, come to you. The issue we have with seeking wells is they don't really seek you though, unless you're pretty close to them already. They're not like Ionic Traces. And again, since we're taking advantage of Wish Ender and we're dodging things that can literally one-hit kill us, distance is normally your friend inside of GMs. This is a very interesting build, but one thing I want you to take away from all of this is that Wish Ender is a good weapon. Having intrinsic anti-barrier, having broadhead, hitting multiple times on entry and exits, there's a lot of reasons to give this bow a go. I know bows like La Monarch, Trinity Ghoul, TQ's Divination, those are the hot ones, right? Nobody really cares about Wish Ender, but I'm telling you, for a primary weapon, the fact that it's pulling off numbers close enough to Arbalest, and we can consistently keep proccing it with the likes of Sundering Glare, there's a lot of reasons to use this bow in in-game content. So Hunter boys, try out this build for yourself, and if you got any suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.